Mrs. Witchman, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm speaking on consent item L, the ratification of the 2021 School Accountability Report. And as you know, this report summarizes the school's mission, goals, academic data, along with several other categories. I expected a presentation with at least the academic data. Considering the many devastating effects of COVID nationwide, you would want to move forward to set a path and pathway for improving each student's learning goals, scores, and how the superintendent will accomplish that. You will need to know the stats from every school to understand programs and set expectations for students and certificated staff. I would hope you will set up a workshop to concentrate on getting our students from OUSD educated to compete with their peers in the surrounding districts for college and workforce opportunities. I worked at Laurel Elementary School during Desert Storm. At that time, it was an arts and performing school, and many of our base children attended. At that time, the school district was in a crisis mode due to the war and the many military fathers and mothers and grandparents with military connections. The staff held high standards, made the children's time at school one of learning, wonder, and accomplishment. Staff was compassionate, caring, and very understanding with the children, making sure of their well-being. All the children, all the children, military and those in the neighborhoods, were very proud of their academic accomplishments, as well as their teachers, who were several of the finest of the district. The schools were havens of learning and contributed to children's stability by teaching them reading, writing, math, science, the arts, the performing arts, which they shared when their mothers and fathers returned from Desert Storm. Our district has been compassionate, caring, resilient, and can do it again. We need to educate our youth and our children for their futures, to be productive individuals, and to give back to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Witchman. Did our other speaker? Oh, there's Rosie.
Yeah, she's available, Dr. McGinn. Rosie, you're up.
Hello, Rosie. Rosie, you have to unmute. We cannot hear you.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, all right. We can hear you.
Okay, so I wanted to speak on item 4C, where I guess you guys are trying to approve $824,000 for class displays, boxes, mobile carts from Iridex Industries. So my question is why we're spending so much money to upgrade these mobile displays. That's a lot of money. And I'm also noticing on item 7A that you're seeking approval of Apple Mac mini devices for El Camino's Arts and Media Pathways program to the tune of $58,000. So I want to know what will be done with the older Mac devices that were purchased just 5 years prior. And I also read on your resolution number 25, it describes what to do with your sale and of surplus items. So you could either sell them, donate, or dispose of them. So it looks like to me, I mean, over $900,000 is going to be spent on things that we really don't need. I mean, our test scores for our students are so low. It's shameful. Our test scores in science and in math are just unbelievable. For our latest test scores, we have 28.72% in science. And in English language, we have 49%. And in math, we have 33.76%. So it seems to me there is some kind of disparity here between all of the spending on equipment for the classroom, and we're not addressing the math, language, science, all of these essential things that our kids really need to learn. So it just seems like this board is really not focusing on the best interests of families in Oceanside, and we're not addressing our test scores here. I mean, our kids need help in all of these areas, and yet we're just going on a spending spree. It's really ridiculous. And so I want to know where the accountability is with this board. Why is there so much rampant spending? And how come we're not addressing these issues, these main issues that our kids need to survive in the workforce once they graduate? I mean, it's really crazy. So I know that there are a couple seats that are open for election, and I hope that they are replaced with people that really care about our students and our community, because this is a waste of money and resources, and we need to fight for our kids. And so kids need to be at the center of our
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. Go ahead, Patty. Welcome. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Found it.
There you go.
Yeah, I lost my other screen that described that, but it was just a quick question, and just quickly looking over the agenda, I find it odd that I mean, I guess you can justify it under, but that this would be under curriculum instruction, because it's definitely you know, should be under some other service. This is not, you know, this is health, not curriculum, not instruction, right? Am I right? I find it odd that it was under curriculum and instruction number 7. Just a question.
Okay. Are you done?
Is there an answer?
Well, we can address that when we start talking.
Okay, and do we, if you address it, then we get to ask further questions, because there's no interaction on a discussion here. But
So during public comment, you get to make a public comment. The board can choose to address that with our discussion after, but we will not engage into discussion with you and answer your questions. So if you have a list of questions, feel free to provide them now during your public comment.
oh, okay. Well, I understand the whole, it used to be community schools were a volunteer thing provided by the parents and the administration, and they would all kind of get together, and it wouldn't be all this grants and funding thing. I mean, it's wonderful, but this is not a curriculum and instruction item, the way I see it. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment.
We have Michael Richardson and Todd Madison.
Right. So I'm not seeing Michael Richardson, but I'm seeing Todd. Hello, Todd. Good evening.
Dr. McGinn, Zoom is having trouble promoting Michael Richardson. I'm continuing to work on it, but we may have to use just the allow to talk function. So I'll continue working on it while Todd speaks. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Moon. All right. Hello. Good evening, Todd. I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. Thank you very much. I am unmuted. Good. So first, thanks, Ann, for fixing my mess up with the Google form thing. Appreciate that. But tonight, so what we're really talking about is spending down our savings account, reducing the balance so we can minimize the political impact of having given out $10 million in bonus raises in October, isn't it? I'm sure you remember the $10 million you approved, and also remember the $8 million in future cuts from our kids you approved the next month as a result of that. That allowed for a nice bump for those needy people making comfortable 6-figure total compensation already, including our superintendent, up to about $356,000 a year, the president of our teachers union, who will likely end up over $200,000 a year. And the millions in future cuts, they'll come from kids where almost 60% qualify for free and reduced lunch, with a significant percentage of English learners. But the impact on low-income kids is just incidental to our board, isn't it? One would also think the recent near-death experience with revenue projections at the beginning of COVID, followed by the dire news on enrollment declines, would prompt us to have a larger rainy day fund, not a smaller one. No sane family would come close to having their home foreclosed on, finally get back on their feet, and then decide it was time to have less cushion in the bank, not more. But then having been on the state's bankruptcy watch list for almost 5 years demonstrates the lack of financial sanity in our board, doesn't it? The windfalls of COVID, the recent budget surplus make it easy to paper over the problems this year. Following the numbers is hard, but all criticism aside, I'm sure Dr. Vitale, Dr. Norman, the entire rest of the cabinet know what our long-term outlook looks like. They know what red ink means. And they know what to do about it also, but they won't. Instead, we see a proposal to reduce our reserve for economic uncertainties, as if economic uncertainties aren't going to happen. That means spend down your rainy day fund in English to the rest of us. So does that sound like solid financial management to anyone? There are a lot of families out there that were very happy to have had some savings set aside in spring 2020. When campaigning, I spoke to people at their wits' end over lack of work or finding ways to take care of kids while doing what work they could find. No one in education had those concerns, of course. They simply continued to get paid and give themselves bonus raises at that. For those who may be considering running for other offices, you will hear about your vote on this one in that election. Cutting our reserves right now is really just another bit of financial mismanagement and a long trail, not something that looks good on a resume for higher office. We know what the objective is: allow the district to give itself more money while minimizing what you need to cut from our kids to afford it by spending from our savings. The fact that that helps you make you look good now by putting the future in danger is meaningless, isn't it? So it's just another demonstration of the reasons why we need school choice. Let parents choose a school that puts their kids' interests first, californiaschoolchoice.org, and volunteer. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Moon, were you able to get our other speaker, Michael?
I'm getting a message that he's declining to be promoted to panelist, but I'm going to open his mic just in case he does want to speak. Stand by. So, Mr. Richardson, talking is permitted by you right now. If you want to,
I'm here.
Hello, Michael. Great. I'm glad you're here. Sorry for the technology.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I support everything Todd said. You know, you people. Here we go again. You people are stealing from our kids in order to pay yourselves and your cronies. And, you know, you need to undo the bonuses you gave to the teachers and yourselves, but which you didn't deserve. And I'm just so disgusted with this board. We are going to do everything we can. We're going to work our tails off to vote your people out of control of our kids' money because you don't deserve it. I graduated from Jefferson Junior High School in 1955. Wow. And Oceanside High School in 1959 with honors. Went to San Diego State, graduated with distinction. Went to University of California. And all these things were possible because of the great education in Oceanside schools back then. Now they're in the toilet, and I want to. I just will do everything we can to get rid of you. You are all despicable, disgusting, despicable people.
All right, Michael. We have families and children watching this, so you can continue your public comment, but keep it civil, please. We do have families and children watching. All right. I think he's done for this evening. So moving on.
Okay. Like you said, we have 5, and that will be Todd Madison, Patty Kay, Patrick Higuera, Rosie Higuera, and Katie Taylor. Todd Madison.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks again. So tonight I'd like to talk again about having a board that actually puts our kids' interest first, over and above the special interests and the adults in the district. Oceanside Unified has great schools. My 3 kids attended school there from kindergarten through graduation. They got a great education from some wonderful teachers. My wife and I know a lot of great teachers, support staff, principals, and administrators, just the best of people. Unfortunately, over those 17 years, we've seen the district move farther away from what's doing best for our kids versus what benefits themselves, the adults in the district. Our district has forgotten who provides the money that goes into their paychecks, we the parents, and who is supposed to be their first priority, which is our kids. The school board in front of us is supposed to be the voice of parents in our district, but as we've seen so much, particularly in the last couple of years, they appear to be more the voice of employees and adults in the district, not so much parents and kids. That was so evident just a few months ago. Our board was faced with a budget that projected a need for millions in cuts from our kids in the future.
Can you let me know when I got like 30
the response,
seconds left?
Make those cuts deeper by adding almost $10 million to them to further pad the compensation of people mostly well into 6 figures already. Is that kids first? If you want to see where someone's priorities lie, take a look at what they spend their money on. If you recognize this, If you feel education dollars should be spent on education, if you're a person who sees problems and wants to fix them, how about helping fix this one? How would you like to run for school board this year? This year is an election year. It's time for parents to step up and take control of our board to make it work for our kids, not for special interests. Districts 1, 3, and 4 are up for election. The district website has maps. If you're not sure which district you're in, go to the Board of Education section. If you're listening to this, you care about the education of our kids. Is it time to step up and run? I'm a co-director of the Oceanside Parent Association, and the Parent Association is planning on doing what it can to support Kids First candidates in the next election. If you'd like to discuss what running for board is all about, email us. The email address is oceanside.usd@parentassociation.net. That's oceanside.usd@parentassociation.net. And lastly, we all know that school choice is the real solution. Real power comes when parents can simply choose a different school if their board, their district, or their union is putting themselves first, not our kids. We need signatures on our petition to get it on the ballot. We're doing great so far, but we've got a big job ahead of us. Join us to help that by going to californiaschoolchoice.org, signing up to help, getting out, getting signatures for the effort. That's californiaschoolchoice.org. Let's take back our education system, make it work for our kids, not for the special interests, for a change. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Patty K.
Thank you. I think this will be of interest to all the those of you on the board as parents and grandparents. There is Assembly Bill 1785 that's going up to the state, and it is called the Parents' Bill of Rights, and it simply ensures what most of us expect. And some of the items included would be for parents to be allowed to be involved in any teachings related to sexual health education and HIV prevention, and the procedure to have their child opt out if they wish. They should be allowed an annual newsletter to learn about the nature and purpose of clubs and activities offered at their minor child's school. The school would post information for parents regarding the following topics. Again, how to opt out of the comprehensive sexual education program, how to get school choice options offered by the local education agency, about immunization requirements, how to review statewide standardized assessment results. And those parents listening, I would like to refer you to click on the 4L on tonight's agenda to view the current test scores. The Parents' Bill of Rights would allow the parents to inspect instructional materials, including curriculum materials. These are all different things that we've come to expect, but it just reinforces in an actual Bill of Rights. So all parents listening, please be aware of this bill that is due at your state assembly at 1785 to reinforce your parents' Bill of Rights. And to that end, I request the school board, since the parents are acknowledged as the first teacher, that under number 3 reports, along with the union and the school board members, that you have, for equity's sake, of course, a parents report also at each board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Patrick.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The little children were brought to him, and at that he might put his hands on them and pray. But the disciples rebuked them. But Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not forbid them, For such is the kingdom of God. Furthermore, if anyone causes any of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for them to hang a millstone around their neck and be plunged into the depths of the sea. Those aren't my words. That's from Matthew 19. Julie, Eleanor, Mike, Eric, Stacy, and Raquel, I hope you heard what I just said. BLM, CRT, 27 genders. What are you trying to teach our kids? Why are you teaching this garbage? If us as parents want our kids to know this stuff, we'll teach them that. It's not up to you, okay? That's not up to you at all. Why are you using your school platform to further your political agenda? When did that ever come as being good? Teach the basics. It sounds like you guys have lost your way, your moral compass. It sounds like you've lost your way of what you're actually supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be teaching reading, writing, arithmetic, U.S. history, our Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. And why are you putting a health clinic in a junior high? What is health equity training? Youth specific services? Leave the medical issues to the hospitals. Again, your focus is reading, writing, arithmetic, U.S. history, the U.S. Constitution. You guys have lost your focus. You need to refine your focus. Our scores are in the tank. Like, my wife already told you guys. You can't balance the budget. Everything you pass everything. I haven't heard one denial yet. Everything is, oh, I'll take a vote. Okay, that's 5-0. Do you guys ever turn down anything? Can you raise the scores? Can you balance the budget? Stop spending. What are you guys doing? I guess the $1.1 million on your new office is more, that's more needed than our kids' education, right? I mean, you guys need air conditioning and a warm place to sit, I guess. Eleanor, last month when you ended the meeting, I believe your comment was, we are doing the best we can. Well, you know what? Your best is heartbreakingly sad because you guys are, it's just ridiculous what you're doing. You're cowards because you won't see us in person. Oh, I think it's great to stay on view. Yeah, whatever. You guys are shameful. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed, and I'm sure your parents would be of you too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Rosie Higuera.
All right, so I see that the superintendent can vote for someone to be a delegate for Region 17. I asked that Eleanor Evans not be nominated to be a delegate. She has proven that she is for CRT. She's for LGBTQ, as well as Eric Joyce. Eric Joyce and Eleanor Evans both are very progressive. They do not fight for families or our conservative values. Our family values are for marriage, for family. We're not for all of this confusion, gender confusion, and all of this racist teaching. You guys do really need to bring up the test scores. I understand Eric Joyce is running for city council. Please do not vote for him. He can't balance a budget here, and I don't know what he would do on the city council. I don't think that is what we need in our city council. If he can't do a good job here with our school board budget or focus on the needs that we're telling you that we want as parents. We want you guys to stick to the facts of the Constitution and history, bring up those math and language arts scores and science. If you go on the website, parents, I would love for you to see all of the LGBTQ, the Respect Online course. All of this is teaching kids all of this filth. And they have no place teaching our kids any of this stuff. Whatever happened to teaching our kids about abstinence and waiting for marriage? There's a concept right there. Instead of handing out condoms and promoting abortion and all this other ridiculousness, you guys have all proved as a board that you are not for our children. We need competent people on our board, and we need a new superintendent that has conservative values, that actually fights for families, because families are the foundation of our society and they're the building block of America. And so you guys are the guardians and the keepers of the gate, and you have proven, Mike Blessing, Raquel Alvarez, Stacy Begin. I don't know what you guys have done to help further promote families. Families are so important and our voices are not being heard. So it sounds like we do, as parents, we do need to run for these positions. And I hope that many of you do. And those of you that don't, I hope that you pull your kids out of school and vote for school of choice, so that $14,000 per child can be given to you and you can send your child to private school or homeschool them with your values and your family morals. The school does not have the right to teach our kids all of this crap. So I want you parents to show up. I want you to get involved, and I want you to know what's going on and let the school board know that this is unacceptable.
Thank you.
Katie Taylor.
Hello, Katie. You have to unmute yourself, Katie.
Okay, I found the right button.
Great.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, Eric Joyce has decided he has done all the damage he can do at the school board. And now he's busted our budgets at the school board, given teachers raises, he's helped sell school property. So to avoid that the school board or the district will be taken over by the San Diego County because of their insane management of the school board budget. But let me just warn Eric. If he gets on city council, you know what? People, they have to meet in person. And they don't wear a mask there, even though Eric tonight even spoke how much he believes in masks. Yet if you go to his campaign websites, there's pictures of him cheek to cheek, sitting right next to kids with no mask on, and they have no mask on. So I'm just telling you, everybody, he says one thing at a school board, but he does something else when he's promoting himself for city council. The other thing about city council, there's going to be a lot more eyes on the money. I wish more parents had the eyes on the money at this school board, but it won't be that way on the city council. You just can't throw things to unions the way you've done on the school board. People are going to be watching the waste, and they won't tolerate what's happened in city council because the city council has a conservative backbone that wouldn't tolerate this. I'm also very concerned about the board and staff members who spoke tonight. Does anybody understand what a grant is? If it's a state or federal grant, it's not free money. That money came from a taxpayer. And this is the problem. You're teaching kids everything is free. You're promoting everything you do. Oh, it's a grant. Don't worry about it. We got a grant. It doesn't cost us anything. Well, it costs somebody something. And this is what blows me away. The absolute ignorance of the Oceanside School Board staff and the school board themselves. And that's why you guys keep just running this board to the ground financially. And I'll tell you what, if any of you would watch the economic markets, Mayor Matt Hall at the city council meeting tonight in Carlsbad warned the city of the inflation impact, the cost of rising water prices and everything else, and to watch their budget. Not one person here tonight has expressed any concern about the spending, the overspending, and the inflation that everybody sees every day when they're out on the street that's going to impact the cost over this next year. So I just hope everybody votes for school choice, takes the $14,000 and gets their kids into a good school that really wants to teach. And I think Rosie Higuera, who just spoke, man, do I agree with her 1000%. This board is teaching stuff they have no right to be teaching our children. And thank you for your time.